This conference will now be recorded.
Awesome. I like to do it without mask. Well, good morning and welcome to everyone. Morning. So this is, we've got quite a few here on the line. So first off, I just want to thank everybody for taking their time today to join us here on our first TICO Talk session. So myself, I'm Nick Cox, Business Development Manager here for TICO. I'm joined here with Scott Johnston,
Regional Sales Manager for TICO Piranha Raptor.
And again, really the purpose here today of TICO Talk here is engagement. As you're hearing from us, we want to share things of what's going on here at TICO. We want to be able to provide the platform for each of you to engage with us, hear about stories, hear about the things that are going on in the market. We've got information just overall with the market from competition and other things that we want to share today that we know and how we are trying to help providing solutions for those challenges that we continue to hear about as well. So again, the format here, we're going to just encourage the message board that we've got here on the program. Also, feel free to unmute yourself, show your camera if you'd like, if you have a question. Really, again, I can't stress enough, the platform here is engaging, and we're going to share some content, but also looking to hear from you, whether it be our reps, distributors, end users. We realize that we've got a variety of folks here joining us for these sessions. So first off, thank you for that. We will be having two guest speakers that are going to share information with us today. Really, with our topic today, we're talking about, what are we talking about, Scott?
We're talking about 720 today.
What's 720, I guess, is the question, okay? Really, when we're talking about machine uptime, what's that mean, Scott? Help me out.
That means whenever the owner of your company goes out into the shop, he's not looking at spindles that aren't turning and chips not being made. So the whole goal is for the shop to have the spindle turning and the chips being thrown all over the place 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And if they do that in a typical month, they'd be running about 720 hours. So that is our machine optimization and how our products can help your customers achieve that.
And we hear oftentimes that, obviously some are saying, hey, I'm challenged with this around my machine, or how can I do this? Well, really the benefit here is to talk about some solutions that TICO offers here for the marketplace. So just to kind of recap a little bit about TICO. Who's TICO? What are we about? So number one is we've been around for almost 100 years. Really, nuts and bolts is how we got started. Really into some specialized packaging that we got in for helping our customers with their applications. Really had the vision about 15 years ago or so, thinking of we're already around with our kits in the machine area. And when we talk about vices, let's get in and talk about vices. Let's really help out in the machine area. So we got into the Toolex vice arena, and from there really took off into the vice world. Once we got in and had some success in the vice world with our nuts and bolts, we really noticed the opportunity to expand from not only vices, but fixtures. What does fixtures mean, Scott? Help me out with that.
Fixtures basically is how you're going to hold your part. Everybody buys these high dollar machines and get all the cutting tools and tool holders. And then we get a next call we get is, how do we hold the part so we can cut on it? So that's where we come in. We're the base layer of anybody's project on how to hold your part so you can actually use the cutting tools of the machine to the fullest capability.
Excellent. So from there, we were fortunate enough to grow and got into a product that we call Raptor. Raptors are wrapped around the dovetail technology, and really the tolerances and repeatability that we can do, again, with the vision of lights out, how do we get there, how do we help around this machine area with our customers. So we got the Raptor product, added that to our lineup. Okay, beyond the Raptor lineup, not only was that, but we also noticed the need for really that first op, very durable type of fixture. Tell me a little bit about that, Scott. How can you help me with that one?
Well, as technology changes, changeover with your fixture has been real important. So in the last couple of years, 0 point has been the buzzword in the industry. Basically using a 0 point system that you can just pop your fixtures on and off your machine just with the touch of a screw. And so that has helped us to get into that business with partnering with our friends over in Switzerland called Piranha.
So with that, basically, and I'm not expecting for you to see all the complete details here, but as many of you, as I've been out with reps, you can kind of see, here's the Tico catalog. This is your nuts and bolts, right? Then you're getting into fixtures, right? You got the Raptor product, okay? Then you've got into the Piranha side of things. You've got a heavy duty clamp, and then you've got what we call a coolant line, okay? What does all that mean? That means that provides you a solution for lights out manufacturing. Where can you go to get it? Tico. Tico's got it. Tico's got the brands, we've got the products, and we've got the solutions. This is what you're going to hear from us when we come out with our reps and talk about hearing about, hey, I need to do this. I've got a part. I've got a situation over here. I'm really looking to try to accomplish more hours, more uptime, etc. More dollars, more product going out the door, increase that uptime. We have pyramids. We got various ways for you to get that throughput up. Tell me a little bit about that, Scott. On the Raptor side, look at that one in front of you. When we talk about throughput, tell me a little bit about that.
Nicest thing about throughput with the Raptor is once you've got using the dovetail fixture and you put your raw material into our Raptor products, you don't have to touch it again until the 5 sides of your part have been machined. In the old days, you used to have to put your part into a vise, touch it 4 or 5 times to get all of your intricate angles done. Now with the Raptor system, with your dovetail, I can put 4 parts on this fixture at a time. I can do 5 sides of raw material on each side of these vices. So the throughput's going to be obviously a lot higher because now my operator can let this run while he's off doing another machine or two.
Excellent, excellent. Okay, so as I mentioned when we got started here, we have 2 guest speakers that we thought might provide some good insight on some of the success that we've had, specifically on the Raptor side. And the first one I want to call out here is Don Noble. Don Noble is with H&N Associates. He's out of the Michigan area, and he's here to help us with understanding a little bit on that experience. I want to throw it over to Don.
Yeah, thanks, Nick and Scotty. How you guys doing today?
Good, you?
I'm doing fine. You know, we had frost on our windows up here in Michigan for the people around the country that live in a little warmer weather. But you know, Scott touched based on the 720, and you know, of course, we know that's the potential hours of manufacturing opportunity that we all work around. But when you're exposing 5 sides of a workpiece with this Raptor clamping, you're getting the maximum cut time of that machine. Another way to look at it is with the risers, you're raising the workpiece up into the machining envelope. So the typical vertical machining center would be a 20 by 40 by 20. That would be the space that you get to work in. And by raising that part up into the machining envelope, you're picking up opportunities and exposing more parts of that spindle. One thing that we always look at is what kind of parts are good for Raptor. And I always say it's got to be smaller than a basketball, right? Typically, they're smaller parts. We can hold larger parts with multiple configurations, but for us up here in Michigan, it's typically smaller than a basketball. You mentioned, Scott, the 0-point clamping system. You know, you have repeatability of 2/10 with that setup. You can take clamping on and off and expose quicker downtime. So how we justify the Raptor expense to the machine owner is a payback analysis. So a burden rate, he's got a burden rate that he quotes jobs out at. And for simple sake of math, we'll call it $60 an hour. If we can reduce 7 or 8 minutes of setup time for him, he just made $7 or $8 times the number of times he does it. The typical payback analysis for Raptor is under 90 days to the owner of a shop. You're making, if you start talking to the owner about his profitability, he's looking at you differently. And Raptor gives us that opportunity. And then now you've married it with Piranha, which is probably the finest self-centering vise we see in the industry. And the feature on that I like is the barrels, right? They're ground and they're plated for slide, and it's just a phenomenal product that we have there. I'm not sure if you're showing the Gepard or the Snapper there, but it's a great vise. You've got the base plate that accepts that 0-point knob. Thank you, Scotty. And those barrels are the key to the accuracy on how it slides. You don't get jaw lift. And I personally think it's the finest vise in the industry.
Yeah, it's a key word there, Don, that you just mentioned, and I want to make sure that people heard that, and that's that jaw lift. And we talk about, oftentimes we hear about the challenges that people are facing. We hear a lot about that regularly. So we point that out as one of the great features of that particular feature. So great insight.
Nick, a nice thing to also point out, and I'm sure you guys will get to it, is the number of parts that you have. We can configure almost any setup that's needed, and it offers a lot of flexibility, to the shop owner. And then, one other thing that you've helped us out with is we'll look at a part, we'll come up with a setup, we'll bounce it off, our engineers, and where we might have 4 clamps, he's doing it with a larger clamp with 2, and we're saving 30%. So given another set of eyes that you have down there has really helped us out to be successful up here. I just want to say.
Yeah, excellent. Very, very good. Excellent. Okay, perfect.
Thank you.
Well, yeah, absolutely. Don, really good. Appreciate that insight. Continued great work up there in Michigan. So thanks again. Appreciate you giving us some insight here with our session today.
Thanks.
The next opportunity really was out on the East Coast in the Connecticut, New York, Syracuse area. Trevor McDonald, who's with Turpin Sales, also has had some great success with some of the Raptor fixtures as well. He joins us today as well and has offered to share some insights on that success as well. Trevor.
Thanks, Nick. Thanks, Scott. What I'm going to briefly go over is an opportunity that I had here in Rochester at a good-sized job shop. Their primary business revolves around medical and aerospace components, but they just recently landed the Colt Firearms contract where they're going to do a ton of slides. So what they did know going into this that they wanted a stainless steel dovetail fixture, and they absolutely needed to max out their machine capacity since they were going to run 24/7. So with Nick's help, with Scott's help, and Sam's help, we spec'd out several different dovetail fixtures. Finally settled on the RWP 034SS. Obviously, it was stainless steel, but it actually fit all the things they were looking for. As far as the max workpiece weight and size, it was a go. The number of clamps was perfect, and the dovetail height and width worked out well also. So recently, probably about a month ago, we ended up getting an order for 32 of these RWP 034SS. Order was about $41,000. The good thing about this is that this contract that they signed with the Colt Firearms is going to go on for the next 2 years. So obviously, we're going to get some more business. To Don's point, we are going to try to lay down with the Piranha coolant lines. I think we have a real good opportunity there leading to Raptor. But another good thing that came from this success was that it is now on their social media page, their Instagram page, not only on their FTT page, which is the name of the account. It's got the 2 setups on the 2 different machines that they're currently running. But it's also on the personal, the guy that we're dealing with, the guy that heads up engineering, it's on his personal Instagram page also. So yeah. I know Nick's working on kind of getting some of those pictures loaded up on, I think, Tico Raptor's Instagram or social media page. But
yeah, that's a point, Trevor, that you bring up. Really want to make sure each of you are aware. So we are on LinkedIn, we're on Instagram, and we're also on Facebook. So we encourage all of you to connect with us. That's also the additional part here that we're trying to help with this sessions of the Tico Friday is kind of driving that. Right now, when you're talking about pictures, when you're talking about the stories of how it's helping you, what it's doing, those are really important ways that through the sales channel of the organization that we can help anybody in the territories as we come across these success. And I think that goes a long way with, especially from a distributor standpoint, when they're out and talking with, opportunities at the end users and showing how this product works goes a long way. So thank you, Trevor. That was great. Appreciate your insight. And you and the Turpin team are doing a great job out there. We really appreciate your efforts. So thank you.
And to piggyback on that whole subject too, if you're out in the field and you've got a customer that really has a good success story, let us know. And also if you got pictures or videos that you're able to take and share with us so that we can actually put that on social media too, to let other customers know where the successes are. So that definitely will help.
So after we got those two updates on those stories, I thought that we would take advantage of just a few minutes here. We've had some updates on our products that we've done some enhancements with, and I'm going to have Scott. There's two main things. When we call a Picatinny fixture, and then on the Toolex product itself, Scott here is going to showcase a few things here that we've done to further enhance and improve our product.
First thing I wanted to let you know, obviously right now one of the big booming areas is the gun manufacturing, as Trevor alluded to. Colt is still in the business and making firearms. Well, we had to have a lot of requests. It's a Picatinny rail. And the dovetail of the Picatinny rail is basically it's a government spec for the Picatinny rail. Those of you who don't know, a Picatinny rail is what you'll notice on any of your little shoot 'em up shows that have the AR-15s. It looks like a little serrated top on the rifle where they can mount scopes and lasers and whatever else they can mount onto them. Well, that rail has a government spec to it, and it was developed into the Picatinny arsenals, why it has that name. But this is a special dovetail just for the Picatinny rail to be locked into so that they can machine the rest of the part of that, the upper. So we do have this new, and it has the Raptor mounting on the bottom so that it actually will bolt directly to a Raptor riser, and then you're ready to go. The other feature it has to do with our Toolex vise system. Our outside jaws on our vise, for those of you who are familiar with the Toolex vise, the old style has a pin in it. We have changed our design for the last 6 years. We've been going without the pin. We have a new design that we've been using that long, and we call it a pinless. Hopefully you can see what it looks like on the inside. There's no pin, and what that does is it allows, number one, we've had issues with customers that would, for various reasons, could bend that pin, and once you bend the pin or it freezes up on you, you can't get the jaw on and off. And to get the pin in, we have to put holes in the side of our jaws. So what that, not putting the pin in the jaw now alleviates that, so we don't have any holes in the side, so it gives us more machinability on our jaws. So that's just a quick update on the pinless jaws that your customers will be seeing as they order jaws, as our old ones are phased out and these are phased in. They may, they'll notice a difference. But just to show you, it goes on the exact same way as the old style. Obviously, they go off. They're also reversible. Again, we've used these in our shops for our shop for the last 6 years. The guys out in the shop love them. There's actually no difference in performance versus the pin. So if somebody's wanting to know you took out the pin, it didn't affect the actual functionality of these jaws at all. The only thing is that they may not see the pin in it. So they ask you guys questions, and now you at least will have an answer for them on the being a pinless jaw. So it may look like it's missing something, but it isn't. So.
Yeah, so then you got to click on it. Yeah, bear with us. We have a question that came in, and we just want to take a look here to make sure what our question is.
No, the question is, does any of the changes that we made to the jaws interchange with the old Parlex system? And the answer to that's no. The Parlex system is being discontinued totally. We do have some 4-inch Parlex jaws in our shop. So if you got some 4-inch part, we do have some accessories for that. As far as 6 and 8-inch stuff, that stuff is all gone, and we're all going to the Toolex line, obviously. So to answer the question, this will not go on a Parlec vise at all. So
Great. Good question. Thank you for submitting that question. Appreciate that. Okay, so those are the updates from a product standpoint. A couple things that I want to note for going into 2021, when you think about marketing, working with us, partnering with us, one is we have a demo van. So in fact, one of these sessions, we're actually going to go and do a demo van tour. And that way you can see physically what that looks like, how we interact with it. We're working through with obviously the COVID and the health situations, how to best suitable get that out into the territories and utilizing that. So if you have interest, like I said, we'll have a video. We're going to talk through that here in a couple weeks after the holidays as one of these sessions. So another thing is we're looking for topics. We got the forum going here for the engagement, looking for your feedback. Like we said, if there's a challenge, if there's a specific topic, work holding wise, that you'd like to hear about, like for us to be showing or reviewing here for the content of helping you with a certain issue, rest assured that many others out there probably could be facing some of that type of challenge as well. We're very open and looking for topics and continue to encourage the engagement. So as far as, again, going into 2021, we're finishing up as a company with a decent year for 2020, given the market conditions with COVID, and feeling strong about the momentum that we're gaining here in December, excited about the changes that we've made to the product, and in the territory, some of the success that we're starting to see. So again, we appreciate the efforts, those that are out representing and supporting the product line and us as a company. And at this point, I mean, we're not going to say that we're done as far as any questions, but with our content, what we wanted to cover, this is kind of finishing up the content itself, but we're open to questions and any attendees that may want to ask a question or anything that we covered today. Any questions, Scott?
just a couple of questions I know that we've had in the past too on what's everybody's crystal ball seem to think for next year. For one, that's the biggest question. And we've been planning for next year too. And just, we get some inputs from all over the country. Everybody's optimistic. Everybody seems to think that the vaccines, and once those get out and around, that things will really start to pick up. There are some territories that's really not the issue anyway. It's more of an economic issue. I know some of our Texas guys are on. Obviously, the oil industry is not anticipated to be anything great next year. It's not supposed to get worse, but they're not projecting it to go through the roof. So that is going to help drive that. As if they can get back to 19 numbers, they're going to be thrilled to death in that part of the world. Aerospace industry, I know the Boeing Max jet has been given the green light to fly again, but people aren't flying. So there's kind of a two-edged sword on that aerospace part. With the new presidency coming in, we don't know what that's going to mean for the defense spending. So that's still, in flux. And Don, you could give us insight maybe on the car industry. I'm assuming that's going to start taking off since all the units that needed to be built were stuck across the borders, and so hopefully that will increase. I don't know if you have any new news on that, Don.
Yeah, so we make component parts here and we assemble cars. They're about at 70%. We do look for a slight lift next year, but where we play is in when they do model changeovers, and there's no model changeover expectation for next year. But it's just all about market share. And I would like to bring up again the 720 conversation. When you go in and talk to a shop owner and you talk about the available spindle time that he has to make parts, Raptor, Piranha, Tico falls right into that envelope. And the end user, especially in times like these, look at you a lot different when you start looking at his profitability and show him how you're going to save him money. So that's all I have to say.
And one thing, to piggyback a little bit about what Don just said, that we didn't specifically state here when we were talking about the Raptor fixtures, but for those machine tool dealers out there that are moving the CNC machines, we've launched a month or two ago some packages that basically, instead of the machine tool dealer trying to figure out, hey, how do I figure out what work holding goes on this machine, we've actually taken the guesswork out from a work holding standpoint. We've created packages that will easily suit to, given the brand that you've got that you're selling, of what you can offer and show to your customers. And it makes that process a bit easier. And Scott here is going to talk a minute, and I know that we got another question that we're going to jump into as well, but he's going to show you these packages, talk a minute just about those as well.
As you'll notice, this one, as you can read, this happens to be for the DMG Mori, the DMU 50s, 60s, 65s, and 75s. We also have them for the Haas, all the Haas indexers. And basically what we've done is we've come out like with a starter package. Basically a good, better, best starter package. If I can get this into the camera so you guys can see it. And it's a wide variety between Raptor and the 0-point vices and that kind of thing. So the whole idea with this is a guy buying a machine, they don't know what kind of fixturing, so your customer or your distributor or machine tool dealer, whoever, has an opportunity to say, well, here's something that could go with it. Are we expecting them to order the exact package? The whole idea with this is that they've got something in their hand. Now they can at least ask questions about it. Well, I could use a couple things off of here, but I don't need all of this. Can you do this? Can you do that? We're really trying to get the phone ring here with somebody with these packages. So that's one reason we've come out with this, really, is to help the conversation steer away from some of our competitors and get into a whole nother discussion on what they need for their work holding.
Yeah, speaking of competitors, just to notate a couple things here. One is we know that the vices that we offer on the ToolX line and the Tico, so between the single station and double station, those we have stock of, and I know that the lead time, we are certainly having an advantage over the competition out there. So we want to make sure, obviously, that's aware. It's a great talking point here to make sure that you guys all are aware of that. The other thing is, in the fixturing world, we know that there's some turmoil also going on in some other competitors' eyes, namely with Fifth Axis. And from our standpoint, we have a solution that we can provide an equal to many of what is offered there. It's a quality product, as we pointed out already, from the Piranha side of things. So by all means, if you come across some challenges, some issues there, please don't hesitate to reach out. Let us have an opportunity to not only show you the product, but how it performs and can be superior to what is out there with that competition.
And one thing I want to piggyback on what he was saying with our competitors, especially in this market, most of these competitors that we have are smaller job shops that are privately owned. Like I'm saying, like Fifth Axis is a job shop that's privately owned. Orange Vice is another one that's privately owned. Tico has been around since 1925. We're not going anywhere. We've been here for the long term. If your customers invest into our product line, we're not going to get bought out by some investment company out of China and eliminate any of our products. So we're here for the duration. The customer invests with us. We're invested with them. Our product line is going to be here. So we hope that maybe some stability would help as a selling feature also when somebody's trying to make a decision on what they want. So
yeah, and to circle back, I got the question that came in on the board. Thank you for that question. The flyer itself that we've got for machine tool dealers, yes, we can email that out, definitely. If you provide, or if you want to shoot an email over, Scott, what's your email?
Mine is sjohnston, JOHNSTON, @tico.com, and it's te-co.com.
Mm-hmm. And mine, of course, if you want to reach out to me, NCOX, and then it's at te-co.com. We'd be happy to get you information on the promos or the dealer packages that we've got. So again, thank you for the messages that gives us some things to help out, some more, any questions on challenges that you're facing, anything you'd like to share with the group. Okay. All right. Well, like I said, we are at 11:33. So at this point, we value your time. We thank you for your business, what you do for Tico, selling our products. So from our end, we have consider this finished, and we'll look forward to hearing and talking with you next Friday, the 18th, 11 a.m. Eastern time. Thank you.
Thanks,
Another
guys.
question.
We have another question here.
Thanks, guys.
Oh, sorry, not questions, just thanking us. So
Yep. Thank you.
Thanks, Scott. Y'all have a good weekend.
you guys too.
Yep, thanks, guys.
Nice talking to you, Scott.
Where's my pound cake, Tom?
Check your lobby. I'm not allowed in. I wish I were. Oh, sorry I was late to this.
This is going on the record.
Appreciate it. All right, kids. And you say you have those flyers